Finally, we're live. Surprise. Okay, so no, Blythe left us. She's not, she's not here tonight. So the introduction isn't going to be as professional and amazing and lovely as she can do. But honestly, tonight's show is about the gods, ancestral spirits, the dead. Really, anything that we didn't cover last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever we had a show. Um, we're just going to talk about spirits. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm not going to promise that we'll get to them today, but we will eventually answer them. So we hope you enjoy the show. And the first part of this is basically discussing what they are. So what are the spirits, and what do they want? Who are they? Anyone would like to tackle that while I take a sip?
Go ahead, Scarlett.
What are the spirits? Well, it's what you work with. From deities to ancestral spirits to the dead that you work with, like in necromancy, to familiar spirits, to spirits like I work with from time to time, like in mediumship.
I think it's hard to define what.
It is. I mean, there's so many different kinds of spirits out there.
Well, because when you, we have, let's say, our ancestors, which are the spirits of our dead, and so they lived a life before, and that's what they are, but they become, I feel like once you become like an ancestor, once you've been dead for so long, you build this energy and you become almost like a group mind. You still have the individual personalities, but ancestors, to me, they have this group mind, this group expression. And sometimes depends. Sometimes when they come to me in that sense, and I can feel them. I can feel like the whole. And sometimes I can discern like specific ancestors that have come forth. And then you have those spirits that have never been here, have never incarnated here, and they're not our ancestors. They're something entirely different. And I don't even know how to even begin to put into words what they are. I think that's really something that you have to experience, let it almost ride you, and you understand. You come to this understanding, because putting that into words is just not even possible. It doesn't do it justice.
No, it doesn't. You got the spirits that you got names for, like ancestral spirits. And then there's the spirits that you can't describe, that there are no names for.
Right.
And then you got ones that people are so scared to work with, like demon spirits.
Or the devil.
Exactly. And then, you got fairy spirits.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, there's so many different types of spirits out there. And there's so many people that think that there's just one type of spirit.
Right.
And that it's just your ancestors. And that's just farther from the truth.
No, it's just a portion of what there is. I mean, spirits and everything has a spirit that oversees it, and so I don't know. That's really hard. I'd actually love to hear people express how they define spirits, like what they are, how they decide to describe them, because that is a challenge, and I don't even think that there's a right answer for it.
I think it's like whatever your personal path has experienced, because there are spirits that I have never came in contact with that I know exist because I know people who have worked with them.
Mm.
So you can't. I guess that's why it's so hard to define, because there's not really a set rule of, well, every witch works with every one of these spirits, because that's not really the case. So it's a little hard. It's a little hard to describe. I think that and every spirit has their own unique abilities, have their own unique forms, if you will. I mean, and some of them vary. Like the dead, for example. Either your ancestral dead or the dead in general, they can form in many different ways. For me, as an example, I don't usually see them physically with my eyes. I sense them, I talk to them, I hear them so often, and I channel their energy. However, I know for a fact that you two physically see them very, very often, especially Scarlett, because she touches on that so often. Her being, so with that ability that you guys have, that's hard to explain on its own.
Yeah, and then, I mean, with your wife being a medium as well, and she shares those stories with you, I'm sure it's easy for you to understand better where Michael and I are coming from. And, like...
Oh, definitely.
I mean, I can explain myself, like, what I see, what I hear on a daily basis to other people, and they just look at me like I'm crazy. And it's like, no, you don't understand. I see them like they're still living, but they're not. And that's how I see them. I don't see them in an outline form. I don't see them in a mist. I don't see them in a shadow. I mean, they can show themselves like that to me if that's how they so choose.
Right.
But majority of the time, I see them just like I see a live person. And people are like, well, that's just crazy. Well, that's my gift, and that's how I see people that are departed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard because when describing like what they are, to me it's more of a feeling. Like I know what they are, but describing it is not even possible for me. But the feeling is there. Like I can feel it, and then I can see that like it brings a visual, and it brings this this whole, I don't know, this whole thing just plays out, and I know what it is, but I can't express it verbally. And like I wish I could. I mean, to some people, like if you were like physically with me, I could share that. Like probably distantly too. Maybe I want to try that. But I could share that experience. I could share that feeling, like transfer it. But yeah, it's more of a feeling to me. That's why words can't express it.
Well, it's like telling somebody, especially when I'm doing like a spirit reading for a client, for a deceased loved one of theirs, because I don't ask for names. When they say, well, I'm hoping to get in contact with my uncle, that's all I want to know. I don't want to know what that uncle looked like, what that uncle's name was, and blah, blah, blah. I don't want to know any of that. Don't tell me any of that information.
Yeah.
So when that person comes forward, or any person comes forward, I tell my client, okay, this person's coming forward. I don't know if this is the person that you are seeking, but it is a female energy. And this is what I'm picking up from them, whether they were loving, caring, kind, blah, blah, blah. And that's what I say to my client.
Right.
And the majority of my clients are long distance.
Mm-hmm.
And my clients are like, oh my God, They're like, that's so-and-so. And that wasn't even the person that they were hoping to see or hoping to come through.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people don't think that I can do my job or use my gift long distance. But Michael and I can use and do our gift long distance.
I know some people.
Because we know what we're doing. We know how to use our gifts.
Yeah, and spirit, that line, that current isn't something that travels like physically. It's on a different wavelength, so you don't need to be in the same
Mm-hmm.
presence or same building of someone to connect with them on that level. And I think that's a lot of people don't really understand that. Like even practitioners, even witches, don't even understand that fully. You know, because
Yeah.
there's so many.
And that's hard to explain because, you know, and like I said, I don't have your experience with the dead in the exact same form. Lindsay, however, does, but hers is almost a mixture of, and for all of those that watching that have no idea who I'm talking about my wife. So my wife's
My
experience,
wife.
my wife, my wifey, as Michael says, but
Wifey.
her experience with it is a mixture. Sometimes they come to her in full form and are very, very direct. Then there are other times where she will sense their energies
Mm-hmm.
and having her explain it, I understand it because that's how I see them all the time, or see them all the time. Not really because I don't see them, but I feel them and I communicate with them. But example, and going back to they don't have that sense of travel, and they will use you sometimes to get a message across if they can't contact their living relative. So it's almost like a
Mm-hmm.
two-way street, and a lot of mediums and a lot of witches are that have the medium gift are that bridge. And example, there's a guy that uh, my wife went to school with, and she had not spoke with him, I don't know, for years, since like, I don't know, freshman or sophomore year. She knew him or whatever. Well, this person just kept coming to her and like like nagging at her, and she was like, "I have no idea what you want, and until you tell me directly what you want, I can't help you." And
Right.
then she kept running into this individual, this person she went to school with. Every person, be it at the gas station or this person worked at a restaurant. So if we were there, every time it was like punch in the gut to her. It was like the spirit was like, "Whoa! Like this is what I'm trying to tell you right now. This is the person I need you to talk to." So a couple of days go by. Lindsay gets that feeling. Well, they will not let her up. So cleansing after cleansing after cleansing on my part, just to give her a little bit of relief. She physically had to go and make contact with this person, let them know that there's a spirit on the other side, give the spirit's message to the person, and then finally the spirit lit up. So some are like really, really persistent, and they don't have a good concept of time. They don't know it's night. They don't know it's day sometimes. It just, and Scarlett, the other day, experience that you had, I know you had a recent experience where you had to tell the spirit, like, back off, come back later.
Mm.
Yeah. That was ridiculous. Some are pushy. And like you said, they have no sense of time. But you still need to be like pushy back with them
Right. You have to be
to
respectful, but
let
you have
them
to.
know, look,
Right.
I don't mind helping you, but you need to respect my privacy
Mm-hmm.
and my time. This is 3:30 in the morning. I'm
Yeah.
sleeping. You need to come back. I mean, starting my shower, I shut it off, try to go back to sleep, he starts it again. You need to come back later.
Exactly.
I didn't mean I didn't completely turn him away. I didn't say no, I won't help you. I just said you need to come back later.
Right.
He came back later, and I helped him. and it wasn't really an emergency like he made it out to be. But sometimes things seem urgent to them.
Right, and I think it depends also how long they've been. If we're talking about actual people who have passed away, it depends on how long they've been dead, and how they
Yeah.
died. Because if they've died like crazy, like a very tragic death, sometimes they come across like now, and they feel it, and sometimes they don't even know why it has to be urgent. But and like you said, you have to be respectful always, but
Yes.
you also have to be firm and give your boundaries, because if you don't, they're going to come at you always. And yes, and that's kind of just with that work, with mediumship work and witchcraft, like it's very. I mean, I don't think that they're. I feel like all witches talk to the dead. We are of that. That's part of our craft. So we're of service, and we're always of service. So that's part of our craft, and things come at us all the time, so we understand that connection. Like when someone comes to us, we have to help, or we choose not to help, whatever, but there's always something coming at us, asking of us, and we have to be firm, saying, yeah, I might be able to help you, but you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to come back at this time, or we're just not going to get a mix, and I'll send you to someone who might be able to help you better.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads into like what they want. And like with spirits who have passed over, sometimes all they want is to say goodbye. Sometimes they want revenge, and that's, you kind of have to say, no, not getting into that, because some do. Some want to get even.
Yeah.
And depending on their circumstance, depending on how they pass, you might just have to get that revenge for them. You might have to do something, especially if it was a child. Like if it's a child, then it just depends on the type of spirit that
And
comes.
some spirits are just lonely.
Yeah.
They had no one in the physical world, and they're just lonely and just want somebody to talk with in the spirit world. And because they had no one in the physical world, they're afraid to go on to their next journey.
Right.
And so they kind of like just stay back, and they talk to those of us who can speak with them, and they kind of like are wanting to develop that relationship so they can make up for, I guess, a friendship that they didn't have in the physical world.
And that's kind of.
The one that had turned on my shower twice the other night, he had died like suddenly in his sleep, and that's all he told me. And what his urgency was that he was afraid that his wife wouldn't see him as a spirit. And he was afraid that if he went to go visit her, she wouldn't see him, hear him, or feel him. And so that's what he was wanting from me, was to know if she would. And so I was like, I understand that you want to know if she will, but 3:30 in the morning isn't going to get me to answer you.
No.
I said, but all you have to do is try. And because you guys were married for so long, she knows your energy. She just may feel you, hear you, and maybe even see you. So I told him just to give it a try. Well, he hasn't been back since. So I'm hoping she at least has sensed him or felt him.
And
so
that's so amazing for you to do, because okay, that I don't know what it's like to be on the other side. I have no idea. But if it's a very lonely existence and you have a longing for this side, you won't fully accept your fate, and that's where you get a lot of trapped spirits. They just refuse flat out to move because they long and they want to be on this side. And in a situation like that, though it was a little conversation on your part, look at how much that could have helped him gain closure and know how to move. People always, it's annoying and it's very disrespectful when someone says something about the dead and they're like, oh, I can't deal with it. I can't have spirits around me all the time. That's so creepy. That's so weird. No, it's not. Like, don't say that, because specifically of the dead, they were here once, and
Mm-hmm.
they're shifted in a completely different sense of existence, and have no idea what's going on a lot of the time. So for you to like shut them down all the time, and have that disrespectful, non-intimate relationship with the dead, first of all, that's not going to benefit you at all. Second of all, you're turning down someone that could potentially, all they want to do is make contact with their wife. That
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And
Right.
that's just, I don't know. It annoys me. We're like, I don't work with spirits. I can see them, but I don't work with them because they freak me out.
Well,
And I'm like,
and that irritates me too, because a huge part of our craft, a huge part of what we are, is we work with the dead. That's you can't take that away from the craft. That is so ingrained in the craft that you can't separate the dead from witchcraft. You just can't. It's not. I just personally believe that if you do, it's not witchcraft. So if you're a witch and you're saying shit like that, like you just said, like you expressed that you've heard and stuff, which we've all heard, um,
yeah.
you're weak. Your practice is weak because you are denying a huge part of it. And these are people who just need help. These are people who, I mean, you have bad days, you have challenges, and if you went to someone and they said what you would say, like they said, "Oh no, I can't. No, you freak me out. No, I can see you, but I'm not going to do this." That hurts.
Yeah.
And these are spirits. These are beings that have the potential to be allies. You know. So, and that's
I know this is so odd, but and you were talking about the lonely spirits, the ones that are there and are lonely, and that's so interesting because specific in my house now. Okay, I will say that there are house guardians that can come into your house that are of non-human origin,
right.
but for whatever reason, I have an uncle, okay, that has crossed over, well, has passed on, not crossed over to wherever you go, I don't know. Um, he's passed. He's not in the physical, and I don't know if he had a lonely life. I don't know because I never knew him in life. But he actually died on the land, and I don't know if he's just connected with the land or he saw that my wife is a medium, and he kind of took advantage of that. But he has become, like, in the past year and a half, from the first time that he made contact to now, is like always here, and it's like he enjoys being the guardian of this property. He like I don't want to say gets off on it, but that's he finds purpose with that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Well,
he was. I
yeah.
don't know. I just, and his name is Melvin. So we
Melvin.
always, yeah, and
That's super
I
awesome.
can't see him, but when he comes in to a room, to let me know that he's here, he'll take whatever light is on and make it flicker. That's just the way he does it. I don't know. I can't see him. So if a light flickers in the house, and you can't really have a explanation for it, it's Uncle
Melvin.
Melvin. So you're like, hey, Uncle Melvin, you're doing good today. If you need anything, let me know, or let Lindsay know, and I'll get it for you. Like that's what I don't know. He just does that, and that is what he wants. It's not like he wants an altar set up for him. It's not like he wants offerings daily. He wants to be noticed,
A
and
part of
he
the
wants to be
family.
appreciated. Exactly.
And
Exactly.
and I think that is like so important for people to understand. Like when you work with spirits like that, when you honor them and you just give them a chance, like I said, you can either have allies or you have people who are going to be against you. And if there's this one witch who like does a very good relationship with spirits, all sorts of spirits, help cross over, blah blah blah, and then you have this witch who's being a dumbass, and if this dumbass witch interferes with the one that has this good relationship with the spirits, all those spirits can terrorize that witch. I mean, I've heard, not that I've done that before to anyone. I promise I haven't. Really. But like the lonely spirit that Scarlet was experiencing, he could actually come in handy eventually. Like if he wanted to help her out, because she helped him out. If she ever asked him, he could take that lonely feeling, because spirits have the ability to do this. He could take that loneliness and he could channel that, and he can put that on someone. He could intensify that, and he could target someone and bring that into their life and really force that on them. And they won't know because they don't work with spirit.
Yep.
And that's why it's so, What?
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that's why it's so important to be a freaking witch up, Be a witch and know that that's just part of our craft. Don't be stupid.
Is it bad that I automatically find a witch, I don't know how to put this, and not like totally piss somebody off, but I don't care. If you are a witch and you come to me and you go, I don't work with spirits, I automatically assume you're not a witch, and that you have found that word in a book somewhere and thought it was cool. Because a witch that doesn't work with spirits is like a carpenter that doesn't work with wood. Like, hello? Like, what the fuck? Like,
so
I play football without football. That's what that is. Like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Well, it is.
Going back on talking about your uncle.
Yeah.
My sister, she lives here with us. She passed away when she was 2, and that was back in 1987. You know how many people have said to me, she needs to cross over? You know what my answer is? Says who? Who the fuck are you to say she needs to cross over? Who says she has to cross over? She's completely happy here. She has her own bed here. I mean, it's not a full bed like our size bed, but I made her a little bed, and it goes by where the kids are, and when we move, it goes with us. It's her very own spot.
Yep.
Her birthday is May 7th. She will have been, this year she would have been 28. And every year she gets a birthday card from us. And she's included in everything. When the kids play Just Dance on the Xbox, she comes upstairs and she dances with them. She's happy here. I have talked to her about moving on. She doesn't want to move on. Who am I to force her to move on?
How dare someone say
other people say she has to move on?
Well, and like,
those say so.
I don't think people really understand what that. Yeah, I don't think people really understand what that means either. Like,
they don't.
I'm not saying I have like a good old relationship, but I've seen her, and I was like, who's this? But
well, hell, she greeted you when you came here.
I know, and she did not seem like she was doing harm. She did not seem like she was out of place. She was happy. She was protective. She was very like, what do you want? Okay. But some people think like, oh, if the spirits stay here and they're physical, they're earthbound and blah, 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 they're going to get crazy. Some do. But I think when there's a choice to stay here, they know that they can move on when they want. It's different, and she has her place. She's fine where she is, and she's not like causing distress like some spirits can,
Mm-hmm.
Because there's some that just don't want to move on because they want to stay here for specific reasons, and those reasons, like that thing that's holding them here, that can cause issues. But she's like content. Like there's not like this negative thing that's holding her back or anything. This is where she belongs. This is where she chooses to be right now, and she's fine. People don't
And
understand that. People.
How dare someone say that she needs to move on? With like she never got to she never had the chance to live a full human existence, full life human existence. So if she now, at 26 years later, is living her afterlife content with her sister and her sister's family, and she feels a part of that family, that to me says that she's getting what she wants, and the recognition and the love that she needs, and that is what's keeping. It's not that why would she move over if there's something that ties her to the physical realm in such a wonderful and beautiful way, and they don't ignore her. They make her a part of the family. They treat her like the existent person that she used to be, and
Right.
that's beautiful. So how dare someone think that they know what that spirit wants? That's like thinking you know what every human is going through all the time. Like that's the most ridiculous thing, and they're not that different from us. That like I don't know. The people put them so further up the ethereal sense, but they're not. Like they were human once. They're very close to.
Right.
If she's happy,
So
that's a different thing.
yeah, and okay, so we've talked a little bit about like physical, like spirits who have lived this physical existence. What about what about the gods? You know, um, what do they want? What do they want? As well, when you're channeling, full body channeling Dionysus, well, I think we know what he wants. But
He always gets it.
he does. But okay, so what do they want? Nimbus.
It depends on the god. That's hard to say
Well,
because some gods don't want anything from humans. Some gods don't particularly like humans, whether they be witch, whether they be muggle, whatever. They don't. I mean, they don't want anything from us. Then there are some that um, they kind of get their energy from us.
mm,
Specifically Dionysus. If there are no humans, then Dionysus is not the god that
right.
he is. If humans didn't exist, Dionysus would fade, in my opinion. I don't know exactly how that would work, but that's what he does. He gets us to revel in our release of inhibition, and that's what he wants. That's what he wants owed to him, and other gods want a little less, some want a little more. Some demand physical sacrifice, some demand blood, some demand food. I don't know. Some are completely separate than us, and some depend on humans entirely. So that's a hard thing to. What do they want? It just depends.
Absolutely. Um, and I think people don't listen. Like they will ask for something and then they'll try and negotiate. Well, okay, negotiation is definitely something that one should do, but there are certain things that you should not negotiate when they ask you for something and your reason for not wanting to do it is because you're embarrassed, or it's because it's going to take you out of your comfort zone, or if it's because you don't want to, you'd rather buy Starbucks for a week and not use that money for the offering that they want or the vessel that they want to be housed in. Um, those are stupid reasons, and those are things that are going to get you in trouble. So you really should make it a point, like when they ask you for something, and you do need to listen because they will ask you for things, especially if you have a relationship with them and you're actually doing work. You do need to listen and honor it. Uh, I've been asked to help people. Um, Hecate asked me not to cut my hair for like 3 years, cut or color. Uh, I have not cut my hair for quite a while. Obviously, I've just recently colored it. But they tend to ask you things, at least in my experience, they tend to ask of you things that are going to challenge you to see if that you're worthy of their time, of their effort, of anything. If you they try to make you be better, and they push you to your breaking point. I don't know if I've talked about this publicly, but I've worked with Dionysus, and this was kind of like I was asked to do something by someone, and then he asked of me to, he fulfilled that. And it wasn't really something I was ready for, something that I honored, and that's something I let go and I let happen. But I trusted for a time that experience. I just let go because I trust the spirits and the gods that I work with. Afterwards, and this is important. Like afterwards, it was so intense, and it really shook me up. It really it almost hindered me for a while. And you have to realize that sometimes when you fulfill a purpose, when you fulfill something, that you're not going to always be left with this amazing, exciting feeling. Sometimes it's like a process. Sometimes it's like, oh shit, what did I just do? Why did I do that? And then afterwards, you understand more. It liberated you. It freed you from certain things. It helped you out. It's the like human, judgmental, stupid like society, blah blah blah. It's all these other patterns that are getting shattered that you have to deal with. And finally, when you deal with them, finally when you process that, it's like, okay, I honor that experience. I'm okay with it. I know the purpose of it, and I'm healed. It's great. It was a great experience. It was fun. So they want a lot of different things, and when you fulfill those, especially like when you're a true practitioner, and you fulfill those services, those duties, those responsibilities, whatever you want to call them, you gain from it, and it increases. I really do believe that it increases your strength, your influence, it increases your power, because then the gods of spirits, they trust you more. They're going to ask of you more, but they're also going to do for you more because you have this strong connection. They test you, but you're also fulfilling that, and they're like, okay, they're ready for the next, or not ready.
And don't ever make a deal. First of all, don't ever make a deal when you're not completely ready to fulfill your end of the bargain. With anything, be that God, be it spirit, be it demon. I don't. Whatever spirit you're choosing to make a deal with, don't ever make a deal and don't live up to it, because for some weird reason during the neo-pagan movement, all gods have become these wonderful beings of existence that do nothing but make us feel happy and wonderful and great. And if you're looking for that, you probably should have never left Christianity if you were a convert. If you want to feel that, I don't know. Is that rude? I don't know how to.
No.
I don't really know. I don't know how to put that, but these gods are not. You haven't touched the energy of a god. You have not touched the energy of a god if you think that every single one of them is nice. So don't ever make a deal with one and then don't follow up on your bargain, because some of them will just take away whatever they did for you. Then others will take more. Others will take more, and they will take more, and they will take more, and they will make it some fun game for themselves to watch you struggle by their hand. And all you had to do was fulfill your bargain. And if you do not, you better realize that the circumstances are coming,
You
and
know,
or the consequences are coming to your circumstances, and you're
yeah,
basically.
exactly. And you know what's funny? Like, what's so easy is another practitioner, like, this is so devious. Haha. Another practitioner can come in, and if you're working with, I actually have a lot of people that I know that work with the goddess that I work with. So many freaking people work with Hecate, whatever.
So they say.
It's like freaking, it's like water. People think that she works with everyone, and she's not. She's very exclusive. And then when they're telling me all these things about her, I'm just like, I'm not going to judge your experience, but I am at the same time because I've worked with her since I was 10. And that's just not her. Like, you're adding all these, legends or all these other mythos, and you're adding them to her, and that's not her. That's not her at all. She's not freaking nice. She can be, but they think that she's just like this love and light, and she's freaking mean. She can be, but I've noticed that she's not like nice unless you've worked with her for a certain period of time. Even then, she's not nice. She's very like firm, but you understand her language. And people are just, and so when they're working with supposedly her, and if they do something and you want to get at them, you just have to go talk to her. Like, hey, look at this person who thinks that they're working with you. Can you squash them? And this is why. It's so easy. And people don't understand. Like, you can go and talk to their spirits. You can go and talk to their gods. You can go and talk to whatever they're working with. If you have a better connection with spirit, if you have a better history, the witch can come in and be like, hey, look at this dumbass. They're making a fool of you. They're making a mockery. Handle it. And they will. They will. Sometimes they will take pleasure in handling it because they don't like that this person is being disrespectful.
I think it's funny if somebody, I don't know, I hear things about Hecate, for example. I think it's funny when they go, or when they allude to the fact that she's like this nice, sweet, wonderful, grand rainbows, butterfly goddess, because she's just not. And she doesn't even, I don't know, she reigns in the power of the shadow. I mean, she's the mistress of the fucking crossroads. Like, have you researched her at all? Like, you can't.
Well,
You can't just like say, "Oh, Hecate is the goddess of the witches. I want to be a witch.
I'm a witch.
Let me work with." It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it's not. No. And it's like, even if you haven't researched her, freaking, if you've experienced her, then you'd know. If you really
But these people aren't. The ones that I'm talking about aren't experiencing her.
And
They're just claiming to know who the fuck she is.
And I think this is kind of. I know we're totally getting off whatever topic. I don't care. But I think this is kind of what separates. People are gonna hate me more. This is what separates like real practitioners from people who are faking it. Because when you're faking it or when you don't know what you're doing, you're not actually going up. You're not actually going down. You're not connecting with the real spirits. You're doing it all from your mind, like from this visualization and this. I don't even want to say imaginary because imagination comes into play in a lot of psychic work, but they're not actually journeying or traveling to that spirit or experiencing that spirit. They are staying here and they're kind of creating the scenario in their head, if that makes sense. Like, they're playing out this guided, meditation, and they're only following it by the rules, and they're experiencing that whole visual, but they're not actually going out and experiencing the individual deity, and they're not actually having a conversation with an actual spirit. They are just having a conversation with what they think is a spirit through their pretend visualizations. Does that make sense? kinda.
Oh yeah, it totally makes sense. Just that in my experience, I don't even know if they're doing that. I think that you're giving them credit because at least they have active imagination. Like in your theory, I think they have active imagination. However, in my theory of it, I just think they say that they do, and I think they make an altar to some god, and then all of a sudden they're working with this god, and like I don't know, Bast is their favorite thing. Oh my god, they have a cat, so Bast must be their goddess.
Ugh.
It just that's how they think, and I'm like, no, you're bad. Like, shut. Oh God,
Oh my god.
you
No.
just
Well, yeah, maybe I am giving them a little too much credit. They're trying to be nice, you know. Sometimes I'm nice.
No, I'm trying so hard not to laugh my ass off over here because, oh, like
Oh.
really, because with so many people saying that they work with her, I'm sorry, but you all are full of fucking shit. Seriously.
Who are you
Hecate.
talking about today?
Huh?
Well,
Are you talking about
Because
Hecate?
Hecate.
yeah, Hecate. The
Yeah.
people, the amount of people that say that they work with her, there's just no way.
No, and okay, so if they
Because,
did, go ahead.
for one, like you said, half the people that say that they work with her don't do proper research about her because she is not butterflies and fucking rainbows. I have not worked with Hecate as long as you have. I've worked with her twice. And those 2 times, why the people who claim to work with her, why they're shopping on fucking eBay for her statue and her fucking books, I followed her through the fucking woods in the fucking mud, gathering the shit that she wanted and bringing it into my house.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, that's just a big difference right there.
There is a huge difference, and you know what? If as many
And
people,
that's just working with her twice. That's not claiming a lifetime bond with her.
right? And if all the people who were legit, if they did actually work with her, then we'd have far more potent and strong witches than we do.
Yeah.
You know, people wouldn't these are the same
And
people
these are
who
the
are
same
always
witches.
whining.
Yeah, these are the same witches that claim Hecate but scream the Wiccan Reed.
Yes, and they're
Yes.
always whining. They're always making excuses. They're never getting results. And y'all, if whoever's watching it, if you thinking I'm being a judgmental ass, I probably am. But this is based on my experience from people. So I'm not like just making it up. I'm actually giving you my personal experience with a lot of people that I've experienced, like talked to, what I've seen. These people don't have results. Like they craft stuff and they don't get results, or they always get shoddy results. They are weak. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying that because it's true. Like their practice, their work is not strong. It's very erratic. It's there's holes in it, and if they worked with her, it would be fine tuned. You know, she does not accept that. She does not accept that at all.
No, and you know, a person that's only worked with her twice, you know, I've seen a difference in true Hecate followers or, you know, worshippers versus these, I don't even know what you want to call them.
No.
There's a huge difference.
I'm about to say something that's probably going to piss a lot of our viewers off.
I'm pissed off already.
I know 2 people personally
It's
that
her. That's why they're going to get pissed.
I know 2 people personally that work with her. 2. And they are Blythe and Michael. There you go. That's the 2 people that I'm confident enough to know without a shadow of a doubt that they work with her. Scarlett are
I
on
have the
same.
bumper sticker to prove it.
We have
Did you get it off
experienced
at
her, but we don't work with her. You know what I'm saying? So I've experienced Hecate. Hecate, I know it annoys people when I say this, but Hecate doesn't particularly like me. So, and I joke about it, and it's not that she hates me. It's not
You
like
know
that.
why?
She just is like, I don't
I know
know. I don't know
why.
why. Why?
Do you really want to know?
Yeah, I want to know.
It's because you're Pisces.
Shut up, you bastard! Like, God, you're such an ass. So, and when we're talking here, it's important to remember that number one, we're going by our own personal experiences,
Yeah.
that are, I mean, very, very most often right. And
Correct.
then we're also going off of the truth. We're not to piss people off. I'm not.
No.
Michael's not being a dick just to be a dick. Scarlett's not being an asshole just to be an asshole. I'm not being a bastard just to be a bastard. You're going at it for your own benefit. Think
Yeah.
about it. Practice it. Don't ever claim something. You want to piss a spirit off? Here you go. This is how it segues into spirit work. You want to piss a spirit off? Claim to be something you're not. Because if spirits know
don't have
anything, they know
ass.
exactly who you are. You don't need to introduce yourself because they already fucking know you. They have abilities that we do not have. And they know sincerity and actuality and people who are real
Right.
opposed to the posers. They see
Right.
it. If you're a poser and you're watching this video right now, they know. You're not fooling fucking anybody. Okay? You may be fooling
I can
me.
see
You may have a
you.
conversation with me one day, and I don't know you're a fake, but you're not gonna fool a fucking spirit. So you're screwed.
Oh, I know you're fake. I can tell. I can tell. I'm watching you. Spirit
See,
watches through
that's
your
exactly
eyes.
who's gonna get pissed off.
Are you talking to
The
me?
true witches
No.
aren't gonna get pissed off. It's the fake ones that are gonna get pissed off.
Okay. And people have to also realize that we pull from our own experiences, but we talk to each other like on a daily basis. We communicate, we share with each other. So we have experiences that we've had together, and
Yep.
we pull from that as well. Like we don't just like, hey, let's do a show, we're gonna talk about whatever. We have our own individual experience, but plus our experiences that we've actually shared with one another. Um, and that's kind of where we're coming from. Uh, so spirits, the gods, the dead, whatever, all of them, they can aid you so greatly. Like they can do so much. Like, I mean, the spirits of the dead, let's say, okay, a lot of people say don't work with suicides, and I actually really agree with that. You shouldn't work with suicides, especially if you're not trained. But if you really if you're doing it working against someone and you really need to cause some damage, you could actually work with the spirit of the suicide, um, to wreak havoc on someone. Especially, and this is sometimes it does. This is horrible. Sometimes it could be seen as justice when you take someone who basically killed themselves because they were extremely bullied, um, and you ask them for help against another bully. Against someone that has almost created that situation for them. And they will take care of it. And you have to be careful. And that's why I don't suggest it with people who aren't really, they don't have that foundation, they don't have that understanding. But I'm just saying that it is possible, and you can work with it. If there's people who have died, who've been killed by drunk drivers, you could work with them to benefit you. Like if, let's say, someone you love was hit by a drunk driver and the drunk driver got away or whatever, you could work with that spirit. You could use your actual power and find them, have the spirit take care of them. Because if they're not going to get justice anywhere else, at least you have that helping you.
But at the same time, you can't feel bad for doing that.
No.
Feel no remorse for doing that. None.
No. None. You can't. If you do, then you shouldn't be doing it. Because if you do feel it, it's gonna come back. And this is where this
you'll
whole
end up feeling that way.
yeah, and this is where I kind of have this sounded a little Wiccan. Did you hear that? That's where it will come back on you.
It will.
Because if you have that remorse, if you feel bad about something you're doing, especially in that situation when you're working with those like potent energies, they will feed off of that, and they will take you too on a different level. But that's why you gotta know what you're doing. That's why you have to have that relationship with spirit.
You have to have like almost no feeling when doing work like that. No
Right. I
feeling
mean,
at all.
yeah. There. I mean, you have your potent feelings. You have these feelings, but it's almost like you have to have both. Like you have these emotions, but you also have nothing. You have this current that is just nothing. That kind of couples with it, and you produce the work. But you could also work with spirits of the dead to do happy things,
Yeah.
Promote protection, abundance. It all depends on the spirit and the relationship that you have with them, but there really is nothing that they can't do. And the spirits of the dead are so wonderful to work with, especially on the physical plane, because they'll make things happen. Like, they'll go fast. You work with deity, they can do it too, but for certain things, you want to work with someone on the same plane field. Like, they're here. They're here, they're now, get it done, boom. I'm just saying.
So I guess that pause means we need to segue into a different type of spirit. So what do you want to do now?
Well, I don't think I really want to talk about altars tonight.
I don't either.
I don't feel like talking about altars.
I think that's a personal thing anyway.
Well, it's just.
Do you want to talk about familiar spirits?
We can, if you want to talk about familiar spirits.
I mean, it's up to you guys, because I love talking about this subject because I love trashing people. Sorry. I'm in one of those moods. Don't ask me. I'm just in one of those moods to just be like, you guys suck. Not you two.
Well, sometimes, but
And that's a topic that I could really get on and just like crush some souls. You make decisions from now on. I'm in a mood, so don't even like.
I like it when you're in a mood. It's great. Okay, so familiar spirits. Oh, there's a book, and I think I've talked about this book before. It's called A Deed Without a Name, by Lee Morgan, I think. And in that book, they talk about different practitioners, how they came to meet their familiar spirit, and it's fascinating. I think that if you want to know about them, it's really hard because I don't really feel like there's any one source of information that really discusses a lot about them. But if you want to kind of get a feeling, understand and see different experiences, you really should check that book out. It's a personal journey, a personal experience for every witch. Because every witch, there I go again. See, you're in a mood, and I'm channeling you, I think, because I'm just going to say every true witch has a familiar spirit. Even if they have not discovered that about them yet, there's always this spirit that's with them. This external spirit that's a part of them that has just always been there. They come to meet it at different parts, in different parts of their life, but it's there. And I'm taking a drink now.
No, I agree with you. I want to touch on, this could have been a show by itself, because I could talk about the subject forever. Okay, I'm gonna just go and piss everybody. If you have a dog and they're your pet, And
What?
if you have a dog and they're your pet, and
Oh,
they come
oh,
into your
oh.
room coincidentally while you're doing magic, that does not mean that they are your familiar spirit.
No,
Animals
no.
are not always familiar spirits, and pets are almost never familiars. Almost
Mm-mm.
never, people. In fact, the most powerful of familiar spirits um,
Human?
are not always physically found.
Uh-uh.
Okay, in my experience, excuse me, I don't want to say always. A familiar spirit is a spirit that you work with, and you're right. I think every witch, at the point of their birth, they have a familiar spirit that is all boom, like always with them. Now, whether or not you recognize that spirit, I mean, I don't know. I guess that's up to you. But it's there regardless if you're a true
Well,
witch.
yeah,
Everyone has
I
them.
think that I think I think most practitioners would say that at any point in their life they've always felt like there was this presence or there was something that was kind of helping them. You know, there was something that would sort of they could feel it. Like I feel like I don't know if it's for everyone, but I really do feel like most can say that they have this external presence or they felt something. You know, there was something there with them at all times, even if it wasn't something constant, but they just feel that that presence, and they know like
Exactly.
when certain things manifest in their life or certain things come to them or they're protected from something, they know like they get this like this connection, this vision or something that oh my helper or something helped me out. But yeah, I do agree that it really irritates me when Fluffy freaking comes into your room and it's sniffing your freaking candles and almost lights itself on fire. That's not your familiar. I,
Morticians hate
there
it when
are
I do magic.
certain there are certain animals that are familiars. You know, there are certain familiar spirits that are in that animal, that friend, but not as constant as people would, you know, would say, or they think. Because there's so many people. It's like, oh, my cat is my familiar. I'm like, when did you get it? Oh, I got it yesterday. How do you know? It's my cat. But have you? I mean, how did you find that out? Did you chant? Did you practice with it? Did you call the corners? What did you do? No, it's my cat, and it's black or white. It has different eye colors. That's my familiar. And I'm like, no, honey, uh-uh. But I have experienced some fur babies that are very in tune, and I would see them, and they are familiars, and I will honor that. But I just don't think that 99% of the people who say that they're familiar is their cat or their cow or their baby pig or whatever is what it is, because it's not. And they don't really, they don't do work with it. They don't work, you know, they don't work that animal, and I hate to call them animals, they're more like family. They don't work those family members into their practice. So it's like, how do you know that that's your familiar if it's not helping you? It's not helping your practice. It baffles the mind.
I absolutely love my fur baby. She is a part of the family. She is my child. I mean, we do everything. Our life revolves
She's
around this
moving.
animal.
I see her.
She's, did you see her? Do you see her right now? Hang on.
Yeah, is she on your bed? Because if she's not on your bed, something on your fucking bed is moving, and that's gonna freak me the fuck out. Okay.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
Morticia. I don't know. Morticia. Hey,
Woo.
wake your ass up. Whatever. She's not gonna wake up.
I saw her move. She talks to me with
Okay,
her ears.
I'm not gonna talk shit to her or talk shit about her, but her just doesn't connect to any kind of magic whatsoever. She's spirit, but that's about it. Um, so there's no possible way that that little bundle of cuteness is my familiar.
Aww.
I'm not saying I'm not saying that animals can't be familiars. I'm not saying that. I think Trina, I'm talking about Sunshine Morning Ray or Trina Lebowski. I think it's her, and it might not be her. And Trina, if you watch this, I'm sorry if I'm getting this
Hi,
wrong.
Trina.
Her,
Happy birthday, Trina.
her, yes, her grandmother has had, excuse me, had a animal that would come to her every day. It was a wild animal, and I don't know if it was a fox or like a bird of some sort. And I wish I remember when she was telling me about this, but this animal provided guidance and provided guidance within the other world, the world of um, spirit and the world of animal and the world of wild, and that animal would just come to her every day. It wasn't domesticated, it wasn't spirit, or it wasn't domesticated or wasn't like a pet,
Right.
but it was a spirit that came to her every day in the form of an animal, and whether the spirit was bound to the animal or the spirit just kind of hitched a ride on the animal, I don't know, or I don't really know how that works, but that animal would come to her almost every day and give her guidance in her practice. Um, Now, that to me is the perfect example of an animal being a familiar spirit. But familiar spirits do not have to be spirits that already exist also. They can be created. And that is an interesting concept. And you can create a servitor and make it your familiar spirit and make it make it do your bidding in the spirit world, and making it do something, demanding it to do something is kind of harsh, but you can physically create a spirit. It's hard. It's not for the faint of heart, and it's not for the fake witch, because you're not going to do anything. You're probably going to, like, I don't know, swirl your hands around and, make nothing appear. And it's hard, and I'm not through the steps, but if you wanted to, you could physically create a servitor to do your bidding in the spiritual realm. Also, familiar spirits come to you and want to work with you, and then they become your familiar spirit that way. In my experience, I have a familiar spirit that is a root, and that is completely laughable, but it's true. So, I mean, it's just they're not, and they're not just pets, and they're not just dogs, cats, and llamas. Though if there
Llamas!
that was a llama, I'm pretty sure I know someone that would have one. But you know, just I don't know. It's hard for me to keep track of my thoughts when it comes to this because it kind of goes everywhere. But I just absolutely despise it when someone says that Fluffy or Max or, I don't know, Twinkle Toes is their pet and they are a familiar. What does it do for you? What's the use of calling it a familiar?
And it eats all your food. That's all it does.
Yeah. I mean, wonderful family members, okay? Wonderful. Wonderful, great, amazing. I love my dog as if it was a human. I love it more than I love most humans, and that is the true sad fact. But it doesn't do anything for me.
So, Scarlett has like a bazillion animals, like a bazillion, and then adding more. Would you consider, do any of them work with you magically? Do you consider me your familiar? Is Luna like?
No.
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 Mm-mm.
Not one of them.
Not even the baby little chickies? Oh my gosh,
No.
what if the baby chicks, what if one of them decided to be like, hey, we're familiars now, let's do it.
Oh my gosh, that would be my luck.
That would be...
That would be so trying.
Oh my gosh, that would be my luck.
No, we'll not put that out there. Shh. But okay, so I mean, this we're totally going off on something else now because my brain works like that right now. Um,
Aquarian.
we also work with specific spirits ourselves. You know, we work with Marie Laveau, Tituba, Selu, Hecate, of course. There are a lot of spirits that we work with on a very personal level, and it's funny because I've always like admired Marie. I've always, loved her story, but I was more into Tituba. Like I was always like just drawn to her. Um and I've never really thought to work with Marie until she started working with someone else and she kind of put her nose in my business and I had to be relaying some messages. So it's really interesting when you work with spirit, especially when you work with spirit and then when you're around certain people, when we're talking to each other. So these spirits kind of travel from place to place, person to person, and they will like talk. Like if I'm not listening, they might go to Charlotte and say, "Hey, tell this bitch he needs to listen because he's not listening. You need to tell him a message. He ain't listening. You got to put him in check." And we've experienced that. Uh, so it's really fun because we have this personal relationship with spirits and the gods, um, and with each other that they will communicate with us and just sort of say, okay, you need to share this with him or you need to share this with her. Let them know certain things. Let her know whatever. And that's kind of the beauty of working with spirits. And I'm kind of like just rambling here, but that's just my thought process right now. It's like um, that's like we're witches, and that's what we are. That's who we are. And working with spirits and having that personal relationship with them is beautiful and powerful. I have Marie as an ally, unless I fuck up and she tries to kill me, but that's not happening right now. See, look at it, Marie.
I love this woman. I adore her. She's in my life every day. She is pushy.
Mhm.
She's loud.
Mhm.
She slaps you upside the head.
Mhm.
Michael has felt it.
Right here.
Yeah. This woman has brought so much to me, not just as in like money wise,
Yeah.
because she was a badass businesswoman.
Mhm.
But she's brought so much to me as a knowledge and ideas and so many other things. And the thing is how she started. She came to me, and then she kind of like went to Michael because I wasn't listening. I was being my stubborn self.
Huh.
And she tells Michael, "You need to go. You need to tell her this." So then he tells me. So then she kind of like wandered herself into his life.
Yep.
I started working with him too. And then he wasn't listening. Then she'd tell me, tell Michael he needs to do this. So then I would have to tell Michael, you gotta do this. And then she was making us do things together at the same time.
Yeah.
And there's times where I swear to God, she's trying to kill us.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Because she's making us, and I'm not telling you what it is, because honestly, it's not your guys' business.
Mm-mm.
But she knows that there's a couple things that me and him both fear, and those things are the same things that we fear together.
Mm-hmm.
And she made us do it, and we're like, what? and it's
She
to make us
pushes your
stronger.
boundaries to make you stronger.
I mean, she tested us. She threw us out there.
That just gives me the chills just
She
thinking
threw us
about
fucking
that.
wolves, what she did.
I know.
Just fucking threw us out there.
She was like, she probably
But
had.
I mean, it tested us, and what it did was we had our own things that we saw, which aren't your business either.
No. Well,
but I mean, I think it also tested mine, and his relationship together.
yeah, and that's like, oh, that just gives me the chills. But that's like the thing. Like, that's the thing that I think that people need to get from this is like, she worked us both. We both had different experiences, but this is how you know that you're actually connecting and you're actually doing the real shit, is because we had certain points in our experiences that we were able to confirm with each other. You know, there are certain things that happened that like our stories like synced up. So it's like we were sharing that space, we were sharing that experience. And they do that, you know, spirits do that, gods do that. I am so grateful for my connection with spirit. I am so grateful for my connection with Hecate. I am so grateful for all of that because first of all, without my connection to her, I would not be here. I would not be alive. And without all of those spirits, without those experiences, I would have not met certain people that brought me to you, that brought you to me. Everything happens with purpose. And the spirits are freaking tricky. And they freaking think they're the comedians. Assholes, but they're comedians. They do. They think they're funny. But they're rude. But without them,
you know, like I don't work with Tituba like you do. But I feel her watching.
She does, like, and she's like this. You know, she's calculating.
Ooh.
She's like, she's always doing.
It's very
this.
weird.
You feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it makes Marie giggle and cackle, and it's like, that shit ain't fucking funny.
I know. I had that happen today. Like, it was freaking disturbing.
It is.
It's so
and those
weird
two were having too much of a good time together.
See, this is how crazy spirits are, because I should say crazy. I shouldn't say crazy, but idea. I had never met Marie, and I had never met Tituba prior to having a relationship with you two. And I don't really have a relationship with them, especially Marie, because I know Marie, I know her, and I feel her, but like it's almost as if, okay, I will never be able to put this in words. All of you that are watching this will never understand, but I know that Blythe, and I know that Scarlett, and I know that Michael would know exactly what I'm talking about. We are so connected that we feel each other's energy, and we feel the spirits our energy quite often, especially the ones that work constantly. So when I started to develop a relationship with Scarlett, which I've known her the least amount of time, Marie, when Marie was trying to get at Michael, I felt that connection. I felt when Marie was trying to, slap some shit into Michael. But other than that, I don't really have a very big connection with her. I know she exists because I feel her on your level, but not on the level that I work with her in my everyday life. Tituba, on the other hand, she's a tricky one because Tituba looks at her and she doesn't like this, but I call her Mama Tituba because it's not a surprise to anybody, but I'm the youngest of this group.
What?
Of this collective.
It's not a surprise.
Not a surprise to anyone.
Why? Because we're so old?
It's not a surprise. Everyone knows. No, it's
Scarlet.
not please.
Scarlet, look at what he's doing to us.
We're just talking about it. We're talking.
Go ahead, continue.
Everyone knows that I'm.
Well,
We
now
talked
they do.
about it.
Well, they
Everyone
do
knows.
now.
They do
I'm
now
the-
that you aired our dirty laundry up in here, that we're old
I'm the
freaking
baby
bitches.
deviant. If none of you knew it, I'm the baby deviant. Okay, so they give me a hard time, but the good thing about being the young one, the youngest one of all of us, is I think they all sort of, in weird ways, they all kind of mama me in a weird way. Like Blythe is hard on me in a lot of ways, and she makes me think. And then Scarlett's like, you better shut the fuck up. And Michael expects more of me than I expect out of myself. So they're all kind of like my superiors in such a wonderful way, and they bring out greatness in me. But their spirits bring out greatness in me as well. Tituba, on the other hand, she's like Mama Tituba. She hates when I call her that. That's her energy. And she looks at me and she gives me message, but she is like, you ain't, I mean, she's like, you're not ready. I mean, literally, and I've expressed this with Michael, but she looks at me and she's like, you're not ready for me. You're not, for me to walk with you every day, you're not ready. It'll come a time where you will have no choice, but right now you're not ready for it. And she talks to me mostly about that word that we're not going to mention, but
Yeah.
you both know what word we're talking about. Because for some reason that's her fucking obsession right now. I don't know what the fuck's up with her.
I know what you mean.
But I think she's just trying to tell us something that we all know, but we don't recognize on an everyday basis. But she is kind of like the spirit in the corner going, She like, don't do that.
At least she says something
wrong.
At least she's not in the corner just
That
fucking
is
watching,
wrong.
rubbing her hands together.
I know.
That ain't right. That's what she does. But she doesn't tell me. She's like, she doesn't express to me what I need to do right. She's watching me fail and be like, that ain't right. Wrong. That's what she does. Marie doesn't do that, which is odd because Marie's energy is. You know, Marie is more like Mama Marie. She like that's her energy, but Tisha was the one doing it to me. I find that very interesting. It's quite hilarious. It's hilarious every day for the four of us. Everyone knows.
It is. It's an adventure, and that's kind of what the life of what should be. You know, it's fun. It's rewarding. But it's also freaking annoying because I have Tituba saying something to me. Freaking Marie pops in, like she shows her freaking head, and then she's like puts her head back and she starts cackling. I'm like, I want to throw a freaking popcorn at you right now, bitch, because that's not funny. It's not funny.
Marie's fucking evil. She has that evil shit going on. She's like,
she is evil.
And then she's like, I got snakes, boy. I'll send them to you.
I don't like.
I'm like, stop it. I don't want snakes.
So I just want to show you. I've never showed this, I don't think, on camera. But since we're talking about it, I'm going to show it. I'm
kind of scared.
Scarlett sent me this. Okay. Can you see that? I don't really know why Scarlett sent me this, but she just I made an order with Scarlett's Cauldron, and I'm gonna plug her company real quick because all of her products are extremely quality. And if you have never ordered anything from her, you're fucking insane, and
oh my
you're
gosh.
wasting your time.
I know.
You're wasting your time with other people. Some of the look, okay, there is a witch that I'm not going to talk about by name that makes flying ointments very, very often, but literally this right here is the best flying ointment. It's so amazing. I'm just going to plug it real quick and then we're going to move on. But anyway, she sent me this in an order as an extra. She sent me the rattlesnake skin. And this is some weird shit that Marie's got formulating, okay? So then, before this, Elisa had sent me this, okay, which is corn snake skin. fucking like snakes. I hate snakes, and I don't like them pushed on me. Okay,
Oh.
I don't. They're bad.
Sorry.
They're the
Me
most.
too.
I can.
Yeah.
So, all of a sudden, snake spirits are everywhere in my life. Everywhere, dude. Like, everywhere.
You
And
know
I'm
what?
like, Marie, you're a bitch. Why the fuck would you do this to me?
That's
And I know
funny.
it's her. I know it's her because she likes snakes, and she had a snake, and I know it's her.
That's
She
really
thinks she's
funny.
slick, but she ain't.
Yeah, she had a pet snake. His name was Zombie.
You know what? That's really funny because
Yeah.
we all are apprehensive to snakes. We don't really care for snakes. And
Yeah,
this
I do not like
happened to
snakes.
me. Like I got
Yeah.
snake skin from someone,
No.
Elisa, and then I got was it Elisa? She did, and then she sent me like a little rattle too. And then my girl Sissy, she sent me her snake's shed. I think I asked for it. I did because I know I needed it. But I have had the same experience. Like all this snake shit is coming at me. I'm like, I have like I won't even touch it. I have to work out to touch it because it freaks me out. I don't like it.
Well, I have some weird obsession with it all of a sudden. Like this rattlesnake skin, I want to like touch it and like feel it and like I'm in love with it. And I don't know why I'm in love with it because it should give me the crin. There's this
Well, you're freaking
spirit
me
that's
out.
come to me.
Like right now, I'm kind of
This
creeped out.
spirit of the snake, it keeps making its way to me all the time, every day of my life, and I'm pushing it away and be like, no, no, not having it. Fuck you. I don't like snakes. And I know this shit is Marie. I know it's her. See, she's sneaky. She
No,
has
she's
a different.
sick.
She has.
She's sick.
She has shit going on in the back of her head that she doesn't make apparent all the time. I know it's her ass. I know
Yeah.
it. You're not fooling me, Marie. You're not fooling me, Marie.
You're not fooling me,
You're
honey.
not. I don't know who you're with. I don't know if you're with Mike today or Scarlett, but you're not fooling me. I just want you to know. You're not.
You know what's funny though is, again, in this, and I know people think we're just like blabbering on, but hearing us talk, hearing us share this information, it's like it also shows you. It shows a lot too. If you can't read into it, if you can't feel it, yeah, it's the connection. If you can't feel it, then really don't bother. But this is what happens when you work with spirit. This is what happens when you're close to other practitioners, when you share with them. This is what manifests, especially when they all have a purpose together. And Marie does, and I know Titch was a part of this somehow. They're both together, like concocting something, but they have a purpose for planting certain things in our experience, and whoever's watching needs to understand that, like, when you finally actually decide to embrace your witchcraft, embrace the actual practice of witchcraft, and you start working with spirits, this is what they do. You know, they will put this in your life. They will send you things. They will expect of you, and they will freaking laugh their asses off at you while you're being tortured.
Yep.
Because they will torture you. They will freaking push you to your limits.
But Michael and Scarlett, you both know that they're not going to push you to your limits unless it's for your own benefit. They want to see you succeed because by you succeeding, they succeed.
Yes.
Do you agree with that?
Yes, yeah. I
and
agree.
it also furthers that connection and that amazing. I can't explain it. I can't put it into words. It strengthens that web that connects all of us. Not just us four, but all of us in general. If more witches would embrace their power, then they would be able to connect. They will never regret it, and they will sense it every day of their life, and it will change. It will change who they are.
I think I really need to bring out that article again that I did like ages ago called "The Pacification of Witchcraft," because I don't know, it just popped into my head, and it's true because so many practitioners are called to do certain things and they don't do them. They're so scared, like, I can't do it. I'm gonna piss myself. Blah blah blah. I'm a pussy, and I can't work, you know. And so then they don't do it, but in their head they make up some reason. They think that they're gonna negotiate and do something else, and it's okay, but it's not okay. You know, the spirits are mad at them. yet they think they're fine. So it's just, it produces weak work. You just have to.
Well,
it's important that you can't get
you
rid of
know,
spirit.
no, you can't. But I just want to say that Marie has never wanted you guys to do that freaks me out more than what she wants me to do. I'm just saying. You got it easy.
What?
Cause she, yeah, you do.
Did
Do
he
you
just say
have
they
to?
got
Do
it
you want to
easy?
get a pet snake?
Do you realize what we have
Do you
to
want a
do?
pet snake?
But you don't
Yes,
understand.
but that what you two did, and I love it because no one knows what we're talking about. But what you two did, I do in my sleep. I'm sorry. I'm not okay with getting a snake. I'm not okay with it. Not
I'm not
okay.
okay with it
I know that's
either.
what I know that's what it is. They want me to get a snake, but it's not happening.
Okay, so can I just say
Not to,
that we did not get it easy. Do you know what I've been through and what she asked of us and the
my experience, I know
emotions?
it wasn't easy for you two. No, I didn't word that right. I know it wasn't easier for you two, but what you two did would have been easier for me than what
Well, of
I'm being drawn to
course.
do. I can't do it.
Well,
But you know what I'm
that's,
saying? I mean,
yeah.
that's the amazing thing is that what you two did, I would do in my sleep. It doesn't bother me. But you know, I'm a Pisces, so water for me is nothing. Um, so, but what they want me to do, I just can't do it. I'm sorry, I don't want to do it. I'm not doing it. I can't do it. I know I'll probably end up doing it, but
You
I don't want to do it
will.
right now, and I'm gonna keep putting. But I can't imagine that. I can't imagine me having any kind of reptile in that way
Can't you
on
just
me.
go find one and like
Can't do it.
touch it and that's it? Just go touch it and that's it.
I don't think that's what they want.
I don't
I
care.
don't think that's what they
You
want.
can't have one because if I'm gonna be
Well, I need you to
moving,
talk to her.
if I'm gonna be moving and like you have a snake, that's not gonna work for me.
Yeah. If you ever have to crash it, if you ever have to crash at my house for a little while,
I would die.
I'm gonna put the tank like right in your head. I'm sorry, but I'm not okay with that. And maybe that's not what they want me to do. I don't know, but that's what I'm getting from all these messages.
That's so mean.
Maybe I need to.
Did you hear what he said? He was
Oh,
here
and
too.
let's talk about what?
That's so mean.
That's not
It's
even
funny.
right.
I know. I'm gonna tell wifey. You're gonna freaking
Just
sleep.
remember, they worked with
No,
think
because
about
I haven't
Anne
even
and
talked to
we
wifey
were
about it.
ours
Because
first. They'll listen to us first.
I know.
because
Don't watch us.
wifey freaking out because she's like, I think this is incredibly weird because you're being drawn to snakes all of a sudden, and snakes are your least favorite of all the animals, and it's true. I would sleep in a bed of spiders as opposed to touch a snake, and I hate spiders.
I'm gonna tell her. I'm gonna tell her what
There
you
you go.
said. And you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna sleep with a damn snake. And I'm gonna sleep elsewhere.
I'm scared. I'm scared of the snake.
Don't
I'm
even.
scared of it.
Ooh. What were? Okay, so you were.
What?
Let's talk about what? What were you saying?
I was gonna say, since we have mentioned Marie and since we mentioned Tituba, let's mention Selu for a little bit.
Let's do mention Selu and her little freaking corn.
Which is interesting. So her name is Selu Janitsi, Corn, Mother of Us All. That is her full title. It's kind of crazy, but that's what it means, and that's what it is. I think she connects to us all in weird ways too. I think with Scarlet and her ancestry and her works, she has always maybe not been like spiritually present with her, but she works with corn, and that's interesting. And then with ancestry and your recent relationship with a very, very powerful way. I think it's interesting that that's another way that when you're connected like we are, that sometimes the spirit is inspired by others, and then they'll go and they'll be very attracted to them. Selu is that for Michael right now.
Yes.
Yeah. That's such a good book. Have you finished it?
No, I haven't. I've just kind of been reading bits and pieces because I've been too busy freaking working corn.
It's really
it is.
deep. It's huge. It makes you think, and it makes you, and it was written in a different time period than what we're living in now.
Obviously. No, it's. But I even posted on my Facebook like a little excerpt from it today. It's really fascinating. I've never had a connection to corn, like, and I can't remember what episode or what show we were talking about it, and I felt you, like I felt your connection to corn, to Selu, when you talk about, you talk about her. It's like I felt it, like I could connect through you, and I'm like, what is it? Like I couldn't understand, like I couldn't connect myself, but I could understand how you felt. Like I felt it through you, and it just intrigued me. And then something that you said, or something that was said in the show, I'm like, okay, now. And then I was given this like project. I'm like, you're gonna have to do this. I'm like, I don't have time to do this. I'm busy. No, you have to do this. And so I bought like a 20-pound bag of organic corn. Yeah, and started playing, and it's very fascinating because once I touched that corn, like once I actually got my hands into it, I was like, oh, I get it. I understand,
It's
because
in
I was.
right. Is it? It's like it's a very intense energy.
It is very intense energy. It's almost, I don't even compare them because they're very different, but Hecate she is the cosmic soul. And so it almost felt similar in that way, but not as harsh. It was far more encompassing.
She's less cosmic and more extremely physical.
Yes.
If that makes sense. I don't know.
Yes, it just felt like it was very intense. Like it shot through me, and I had this vision, and I had this sit down, and it was like, I get it. Like I understand why he connects the way he does. I understand why he feels that way, because now I sort of do. I don't share the same passion, but I can now understand where you come from, and I'm like,
Well,
okay.
You don't share the same passion right now. I don't know how to word this, but unlike some spirits are present all the time. Selu is present all the time, but her she's kind of like a split year kind of spirit. Her prime time is from Beltane until Samhain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, does that make sense to you at all? I don't know how to explain it.
Yes.
But that right there, she is extreme in August. She is so extreme in August that it's hard for me to concentrate at all in the month of August. She is a spirit that and I think I've mentioned the legend, but legend has it that she was a Cherokee woman that lived, and her husband was he was Kanati, the hunter, and her children were the Sons of Thunder, or the Thunder Twins, and different kind of thing. It depends on what oral tradition you read on, but basically she was fertility. She was the one who made the food. If Kanati the hunter did not bring it back in the form of meat, she could provide it in the form of and basically what she did, and it's really weird, but she goes into her hut each
It
day.
is weird.
And
it is weird.
She dances. It's very weird. She dances, and when she dances, from her, it doesn't say sweat, but I imagine it's from sweat. And from her sweat, when it beads off and it drops, it becomes corn. And those corn kernels are what her family with. And it's weird. So one of her sons one day views her doing this. And granted, he is a part of his mother his entire life. But he spies her doing it. And he goes, whoa, 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 homegirl's so he's like, no, we can't have this witch up in here. I don't give a shit if it is my mom. She's a witch. She is ultimately more powerful than I am, so we have to kill her. And Selu, which is interesting, and if you'll know this, she is a very sacrificial soul. She understands that sometimes sacrifice has to be made. And sacrifice is something amazing oftentimes. So she looks at her sons and she says, I don't care if you kill me, but this is what you must do every year. You will never hurt for anything if you let me live. But if you do, you must take my remains and you must plant me every season and I will become your food. Right. So they choose to kill her, and her spirit is then enveloped into corn. That is why it's extremely powerful when you actually physically touch corn. Selu is present, but not like every other spirit. She has a physical form that is strongest when corn is growing and corn is being harvested. That's why from Beltane to Samhain, that is when her energy is at its peak. Right. So I think it's interesting that you think that she's intense now, because after Beltane, you're going to realize how weirdly extreme her energy is. And it's like all the time powerful. It's insane. It's crazy.
We're like corn buddies. Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, but she's so... Right now, you're experiencing her. I can't even talk because I've had wine. But you're experiencing her in a very mild form. So if you feel that she is intense now, you just wait.
I don't think you've had enough.
It gets way more intense. I have look at this. Did you see it? There's none. There's none left in that bottle.
Oh, it's a sad
thing.
Upset. I'm so upset too.
It is sad.
I'm so sad. I'd share
so
mine.
We've touched on all of our personal spirits.
And we've also
shared... Do we
shared...
have anything?
No, I don't. I mean, we've also shared how when you are amongst true kin, how important your relationship with spirit is, like how it interacts with each and every one of us. So I think that's actually probably one of the rare gems of this show.
Yeah.
I don't really think there's anything much else that I'd like to add, unless there's something else that y'all would like to add, Miss Scarlett.
No, I think we covered it all that we were planning on covering.
Nimbus.
I just would like to say that after the show ends, I'm going to go fly.
What?
Because it's an equinox, and who doesn't go flying on an equinox? I'm just saying.
I know, I'm just saying too. You ought to listen to me, because we're going to talk about the Ancestral. Hey, so... Since we're going to be closing up, I have a message for my Snapchat friend, a.k.a. Miss Linz E. Is it oil or is it oil?
That's awesome.
So if anyone has any questions, like if you have anything you'd like to share, you can find us in our group. you could actually comment on the YouTube video. Let us know what you think about the show. Let us know if it entertained you. You know, share your experiences. What do you think spirit is? Like, how have you worked with spirit? We want to know.
And remember that at the end of March, we're going to answer questions in that video. The closing video answer a lot of questions.
Yeah, and Blythe is going to get her ass on that video. Damn it.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, so ask us questions, and I'm gonna close this. So don't y'all close out. I'm gonna close this, and y'all gonna stay here so I can say a few things. But peace out, motherfuckers. Bye,